What is going on, fellow alchemists? Welcome to Astrology. Today we are doing Saturn in the 5th house. I personally have this position and placement myself in my own birth chart, so I'll try and be as honest as I can about it, but I won't try and relate too much of my personal issues into this dissertation. And let's just get straight into it. It's Saturn in the 5th house. So Saturn in the 5th house. Saturn is the god of the golden age. For all of you who don't know, this is the period of the 4th Atlantean root race. What we mean by root race here is we're not talking about the ethnic races that we talk about today. This is the spiritual races of humanity. This is humanity's evolutionary spiritual escapade through the development towards the ascending arc of spirit. And where do I get that from? I got that from Theosophy, the Eastern school of thought translated into European schools of thought for you to understand the primordial concepts and primordial traditions extracted from the Eastern sphere. That being said, this is the period that Saturn ruled over. This is where we had our most spiritual experience as a species, as a people, as a collective. This is where the most spiritual moments, the shamans, really came into play. Divination really played its role. And so when you have Saturn sitting in the 5th house ruled over, of course, by Leo, and also esoterically by the sun, and traditionally by the sun, Mithras, Surya, the god of ego, our solar deity, the solar logos, the radiating energy, the beacon in our chart, what we're here to do, the Atmakarka in Vedic astrology, the whole purpose of our soul incarnation and soul purpose sitting in the 5th house. What we find and what we understand here is that this is the house in esoteric astrology where we express our soul's expression. This is all about the soul's expression. This is what the soul came here to do in the sense of how it wishes to express itself. Remember, the Atmakarka in Vedic astrology, the sun, the solar deity, is what your soul's actual purpose is, but this is the soul's way of expressing itself and achieving a directional path towards that expression. So that's why the 5th house deals with creativity. It deals with all of the expression of who you are. It deals with your children, especially your first child. This is your relationship with your first child, because this is a very passionate and very meaningful moment when you have your first child. It's how you truly try and express yourself towards your first child. It's a very honest reflection of who you are. And so when you have, and this is also your sexual creativity, by the way, we're not talking about the sexual creativity, or the sexual act itself, which we see in the 8th house, because that's the sexual act. This is the sexual creativity, the way you meld and mend in and blend in the creativity and the wonders of the sexual process itself. And so when you have Saturn sitting in the 5th house, remember, Saturn is about purification. Saturn isn't this evil deity that everyone tries to project it as. So Saturn, Saturn a lot of the time has been projected as this evil deity sitting in your chart, and it's where you're debilitated. But if you look at the very nature of Saturn as the planet itself, which is why I'll always suggest to anyone who gets into astrology to also get into astronomy too. It's a very interesting process with how Saturn develops the very purified and refined structure of its asteroid belt around it. Jupiter has an asteroid belt between Jupiter and Mars, but it's not as refined. And then there's, of course, the Kuiper belt, which is on the outskirts of our solar system, which isn't as defined and refined as Saturn's rings around it. And that is why I always say that the actual nature of Saturn, the sacred planet of Saturn, the god of this golden age, the most spiritual moment, spiritual period in human development, is that this is the god of purification. This is the God who takes away what doesn't need to be there, all the superficial, egotistical things that don't serve you. This is the God that takes that away. This is the God that gives you what you need and not what you want. So that's where the negative connotations come in, because a lot of people, if you're picturing coming into a room and you look around the room and you're looking for what you want and you're expecting a whole lot of things in that room, then what Saturn does, it removes all the things in that room and only gives you what you need. Now, you have to get over the depression and anxiety of walking into that room and discovering that what you thought you wanted and what you thought you had in this room isn't there. But what you need and the real gifts are there. But you just need to get over that depression and anxiety in order to get to the gift that Saturn provides. Remember, it's the god of the golden age, the harvester. This is the god that gets rid of all the blight, all of the spoiled crops, and only gives you the bounty. That's why we celebrate Saturnalia. And so when that sits in Leo or sits in the 5th house, what you see is you see the limitation. There's a lot of limitation, I will admit. There's a lot of stifled and almost perplexed creativity here. You know, you feel that whenever in the past you try to express yourself, a lot of people might have, or people or some sort of element in your life or influence in your life might have made you feel a bit belittled in doing that. There might have been an incident where you've lost, or you felt that you lost your creative child. You know, they talk about the young child, the alchemical child, the process of bringing two and two together and creating with that. And you might have felt like you limited in that area, but the real gift is that you're not. You're pretty gifted, all right? And so you need to work with Saturn in the 5th house. You need to be able to get over all of that that irritation you feel when other people are having fun. I know a lot of the time when you have 5th house Saturn, you want to be in that fun. You want to take part in it. You want to have fun. You want to enjoy. You want to be as enthralled by things as other people are. You want to dance with other people. You want to feel with other people. You want to connect with other people and express with other people. But the problem is Saturn kind of says, you know what? You need to do the work on yourself first. You need to be able to feel, express, dance, and enjoy your own self. And once you do that, then you will be a beacon for all people to see. And it's a very hard and lengthy process. I am personally going through it, and it is tough. But at the end of the day, if you manage to achieve it, and I can only hope that I'm speaking with some sort of, there's some truth at the end of this, but through my research and studies, is that you will find your way to truly express yourself with all honesty and with all beauty and with the beautiful gift, the reward that the most sacred planet in the zodiac chart, in the natal birth chart, will provide you with. This is the god of the golden age, people. So it is a gift, but it is a curse at the same time. And once you work with this curse, once you work and you discover that the curse is disguised as a curse and it's actually a gift, then you find what you're trying to do in this part of the chart. Remember, it's all about the soul's expression. It's all about how you feel and how your soul wishes to express itself in this incarnation. And it will be honest, and it will be true, and it will be authentic, but it will be very hard to work towards. It will be very stifled. It will be very challenging. It will be huge obstacles placed in front of you. But Saturn, if you're willing to do the work and you're willing to get to it, Saturn will help you. That's why it's also renowned for its resilience that it provides people with. So, fellow alchemists, I hope you really enjoyed that video. That was Saturn in the 5th house. Please don't forget to subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like down below. Go into the comment section down below. Tell us what it's like having Saturn in the 5th house for you. All the things you deal with, all the consequences that kind of drum themselves up in your life. And I'll see you in the next one when I do Saturn in the 6th house. Paramount to all that I previously just stated, take very good care of yourself, and goodbye.